Welcome back to the channel. I'm Hex Strange. This is StrangerPalooza, and we're actually in Elkhart, Indiana at Truma, USA. And we're here with Jordan. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm great. Hey, thank you guys so much for driving all the way up here or making the trip up. So.
Absolutely, yeah. This has been a fun trip. Lola and I are brand ambassadors now for Truma, which is awesome. And we've been doing some really great content for everyone. One of the things I want to do, because we use these a lot, is a buying guide for the Truma coolers. I think we should just jump in and kind of show you guys, how many of these coolers do you guys have out that you're currently selling?
We have 7 sizes that are currently available to be purchased on our Amazon store, amazon.com/Truma.
We'll put in a link here and everything for you guys. Let's start from big to small.
All right.
So I think basically, how's the naming going? Just real quickly.
Yeah. So this one over here is our C96 dual zone. So the part number you'd see is C96DZ. That 96 is liters. So that will hold a volume of 96 liters. That's because these were developed for Australia and Europe before we brought them stateside. I know you're probably used to coolers having quarts. On our Amazon store, you can't see the quart measurements, but that's how they get their names.
So C96 that we have here, C44.
This is the C44, so that's 44 liters by volume on this one.
Yeah.
This one is a single zone.
Okay, and then we have the C30.
Yeah, C30 is our smallest model. That's 30 liters by volume.
And then there's 4 more of them that you guys can see. So what we want to do is just give you a quick buying guide. If you're looking at all this, you're like, well, which one should I buy here? So and then we'll get into why you should buy these, but let's talk about size. So you said this is a dual zone. We can open this up here and show everyone. You've got 2 zones in here. You can make them both freezers, both refrigerators, or one or the other.
That is correct. And so this size is the same size as our C105, which is 105 liters by volume, but you lose a little bit of that volume because this one does have the solid divider in the middle. That's what helps keep both zones completely separate. They have 2 completely separate temperature controls.
Yes, and what we want to do is just give you guys a guide by cans. So just so your brain can kind of think of how many cans you can put in here. In all of these, we remove the basket. So that's just a caveat for what we're showing you here. So how many cans can we get in this one?
So the C96 dual zone with both compartments filled will hold 132 12-ounce soda cans.
Yes, which is pretty good.
I didn't believe it till I saw it myself, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And it held 132 with room to spare.
Yeah, there was still a little bit of room. You want to look out for the lip here. These are really well insulated. So you want to look out for that. So 132 cans, that's the count. If you don't want to go by quarts or liters,
right.
This is the big king.
Right.
All right, so then we moved over to the C44. And just to show you guys how this opens, here you go.
This one is our mid-size. It's our most popular seller on Amazon because it's I call it kind of the mama bear if we're going with Goldilocks terminology. Because It's not too big, not too small. It'll fit in an SUV. It's great for a week-long camping trip with the family too.
So can you get this down to freezing?
Yes, this will go down to -8 degrees Fahrenheit and maintain that temperature.
Right, so you can have 2 of these if you want to have one freeze, one be a refrigerator.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can have as many as you want for that matter. How many cans could we get into this?
So our spec testing from our parent company in Germany, when they tested it, they told me 65 and we fit 67 today.
Yeah.
So 67 12-ounce cans.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
So even going from the 132 in my brain, I was like, oh, I didn't think.
Yeah.
So if you're like you're saying, Goldilocks zone right here would be this in the middle because you can get a lot into it over the big one.
If you're in charge of the beverages for a tailgate and you have the C44, nobody's going to be disappointed at 67 cans, I don't think.
Absolutely not. So now let's go over to the C30. This is the baby bear.
Yes, this is baby bear.
Right. And it's, similar thing, opens from the top. And I was still surprised at how many you can get into the C30. So how many cans did we get in here?
Yeah, again, our testing for this, they test it with the baskets in. They tested it at 32. We fit 43 cans. 43 12-ounce soda cans. That being removed.
Still.
And your Tetris skills may not be where mine are. But I fit 43 in it.
Just think about this. If you have 20 people that you're bringing drinks for, you could keep, each person can get at least 2 cans
Yeah, absolutely.
out of this. So that was really cool. So so there you go. And this is right now the smallest that you do,
yes,
right?
This is the smallest one that we have. And this is great for your day trips, great for running errands. If you're stopping at Costco on your way to Little League or, anywhere else in between, this is going to keep your stuff cold as long as it's plugged into that 12 volt and has power. All of our products are designed and tested in Germany. The specs and everything is all verified by our parent company in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very tough.
Yes.
I sit on these, stand on them. You can stack them. So really tough, built like tanks. Okay. And they've got side handles that, as you can see here, easy enough to transport and get around. How are these powered? I think that's a big question everyone wants to know. There are no batteries connected to these, right?
Correct. So they have the option to be powered by 12 volt or 110 volt. They actually, which is great for travel, have the 12 volt on either end.
Okay.
The 110 volt is only going to be on the one end.
So here's where you would control this, plug it in, and then you have another one on this side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way you are not inhibited by where your 12 volt outlet is in your vehicle. You can flip this either direction because some of them, like the 30 and the 44, open from the one side. Yeah. You can always make sure it's plugged into where you can open it and you're not having to, move it around too much.
Right here, if you look at it, this is the 12 volts. So 110, 12 volt, and then USB. So there's a built-in beer opener. We didn't count beer bottles for this.
Beer cans.
Beer cans, you don't need the opener. But for the beer bottles, you definitely do. Or soda bottles. Yeah. Now, I know that over here, you can actually switch your lids, right?
Yes. So on the 96, the lids can be flipped around to open from either side, and that's any size 60 liter and larger has reversible lids. Our mid-size and smaller, so the 44, 36, and the 30, the lids are fixed. Well, I shouldn't say fixed. They are removable, but they are not reversible.
Not reversible.
So you could take this lid off to clean it and then pop it back on, and you're not having to mess with the whole cooler, but these aren't reversible.
In terms of warranty, right? I think that one of the things, maybe folks out there, when you look at this, there's probably a lot of coolers out there in the space. I think these are probably the most well-made. What kind of warranty are we looking at from Truma?
So you've got a standard 1-year warranty. If you register the product with the registration card that comes with it, that gives you a second year of warranty on it.
And then let's just talk about how you would use these, right? So you were talking about the C30, very good for putting in your car, SUV, pickup truck, or whatever you have. If you're going to make food runs, you're going somewhere really far. I think that's a good, this is pretty much your most all-purpose one. So if you don't know if you want to do this, this will probably be more affordable. Yeah. You can get one of these Truma coolers and see how they are. So definitely, I would say like your entry level. Yeah. And then if we step it up here, this can go in an SUV.
Yes, it fits in the trunk of my Ford Escape with room to spare. I know from experience because this is the one I have at home. So it'll fit pretty comfortably. If you're taking it to soccer practice, if it's snack day for you, or you're just, bringing all this stuff. If you're tent camping, we just had somebody take a 44 tent camping for 5 days with all the food they needed to cook all their meals. Yeah,
I would say this would be the most all-purpose one. Yeah. If it's going to be full, you're probably going to need some help. And that's why I really like these handles are tough. Right? You're going to need someone to help you out with the lifting of these. But yeah, probably the most all-purpose. And then what I would say is that not only is this good for home use, like you were saying, or going camping, if you're building up your own RV, whether it's a van or whatever you're doing, I prefer these over the actual refrigerators. I was telling you, the coolers, because if your refrigerator goes out and everything melts in there, that's going on the floor, right? In this, because it's a cooler, if that happens, everything's going to be in here. These are really a lot more efficient. And if these stop running, the refrigerator's like that as well. It's going to maintain all the coolness in there. But if you put this, so if you turn this around this way and then put them on sliders, you can have one as your freezer, one is your refrigerator, and you can just slide them out and have access to them. So if you're building a van or whatever kind of RV and you want something that works inside that thing and then outside, I would go for this. Maybe if you want bigger, go for 2 of these. And then if we go over to the big boy over here, definitely this is awesome for a house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Lola and I have one of these in our house, not just for emergencies. We use this all the time. So people going in and out of the fridge,
Right.
why not put all the drinks in here and then you can just go have access to those drinks from here?
Right. Yeah, these are great if you're doing like some sort of outdoor kitchen area in your patio. We do recommend you keep it covered. We don't want it to get, soaking wet or rained on, but it's great for that. It's a great garage fridge. It's a great, secondary fridge for a basement rec area because it also looks nice. Like Hank mentioned, you can sit on it. It's a great, when it's on the ground, it's a great bench height.
I think you could use this for an RV build.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's why we initially got ours, and we do use it in our e-transit, which is basically just an empty cargo van. And the beauty of this, if you don't want to have two of those, the beauty here, you can have two completely different zones. Then, you can have one be your freezer, or probably be this one would be your freezer. This would be your refrigerator. Now, if you're, I think anyone can get the C30 around. And if you're a real tough guy, you could probably get the C44 around.
Right.
I don't care how tough you are. You're not getting this.
You're going to need some help.
No, on your own. Yeah. But it is good if you do want to use this and you're doing a self-build, because like you said, you can put a cushion on this and sit on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can stack things on there if you want to. So it's doable. You're just going to need help every time you do that. Yeah. So what did we not cover here?
I do want to note that while these were designed in Germany, they were designed with the Australian outback in mind. So when you're thinking about the level of insulation, that's the kind of heat and environment they were envisioning when they built these.
Mm-hmm.
So that is part of what adds to the heft of the coolers themselves, is all that insulation you've got. So it will retain cold for a while, even if it loses power, because it's so well insulated. Like Hank mentioned, they're not chargeable, there's no battery, but they do maintain and hold the temperature a lot longer than if you were just throwing ice in a standard plastic cooler.
If you want to know power consumption, what was it? Well, it was
C36.
We had the 36. So that's close to this size, maybe a little bit smaller. And I think it was using like 50 watts when it's on. So remember, these go on and off.
Right.
So it's not the compressor in here is not gonna stay on all the time. Mm-hmm. Now, I think I had 1,000-watt backup battery. I think that one was a Jackery, and it ran one of these for about 3.5 days.
Nice.
So 2,000, we just were doing some stuff with that. 2,000 is probably gonna take you, this is the only thing you're running, a whole week.
Yeah.
So just as if you want to have an idea, these are really efficient to power, and you don't need anything as big as 1,000. Surely if you're doing a day, you could just do like a 500.
Right.
And you'd be completely fine for a day. If you have 1,000 around, you can use that for even longer.
So some other things to note about these that are really cool is that to help keep down the weight, they are not metalled. They are plastic constructed, but the hinges and handles are all going to be steel reinforced. And the handles are really great because they pull up really easily, but they also lay completely flush. So when you're packing a fully loaded RV or a fully loaded truck bed, that's not snagging on anything else when you try to slide it in. The corners are all reinforced extra, so if it does move around a little bit, you're not gonna ding up those corners. Corners are always the things that get scraped up first, right? We've also put some like fun convenience features in. Every cooler has bottle openers on each handle. So they're actually on both sides, tucked right in there. And they are all tall enough, even with the baskets in, to store your bottles upright.
Yeah.
You don't have to lay them down. So that's also nice. And then they all have USB charging port that does 1 amp charging. So if you've got this plugged in and you need to charge a cell phone or a tablet or something you're using for directions, maybe for the trip back home, you can plug it right into the cooler and it'll charge.
And neither one of us, I think, is a tech on this stuff. But most of the electronics, so your compressor and everything's over here where you can see the grill. But I'll tell you guys, one thing I know, for example, I had something wired wrong in my van and it was killing every device plugged into it. I know I plugged this in, it didn't kill it. It didn't work, obviously, because that plug was not working, but it didn't kill it. So there's some good electronics inside here.
Yeah, and it does have an emergency shutoff, I believe. I'll have to double check the exact wording of that if it does lose power, this kind of will protect it from short circuiting.
Okay.
So in a situation like that, where if some other device that was powering it has some kind of issue, it's not going to short out the cooler.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I thought I was going to have to call you guys and let you know that was toast. All right, so if people want to find out more information out there, how do they do that?
So always visit truma.com/US. That's our website to learn more about the coolers and all the other systems we offer to the North American market. And the coolers are available for sale directly from Truma at amazon.com/Truma.
Thanks so much for having us,
you.
Jordan, here. You and everyone else here at Truma. Thanks for watching this video. If you have questions, if you have comments, leave them here. I'll see if I can get these guys to address them. And if you have some other stuff that you want us to do with Truma, since we're ambassadors now, we can help get those subjects addressed. Right?
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you. We're out of here. Peace.
Bye.